All right, welcome to the Sports News Insider NFL blog. I'm your man Akeem McCall, here to give you this week's key matchups as well as some tips for fantasy football play. Now, I'm going to start with the matchup between the Tennessee Titans and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the Titans defense is going to dominate in this matchup. Big Ben is hurt, Rashad Mendenhall is hurt, plus their defense is the #1 scoring defense team in the NFL. I'm going to have to go with Tennessee on this one. Now, there's some question marks with running back Chris Johnson for fantasy football on whether to start him or bench him for this week. I think you should start him because last week he showed a little hope against the Cleveland Browns, rushing for over 100 yards. And the Pittsburgh defense gave up 155 yards to Arian Foster alone in their loss against the Houston Texans. So I think you should start Chris Johnson for this game. But I have to go with Tennessee on the victors for this game. Now, the next game to look at, the New Orleans Saints against the Carolina Panthers, an NFC South matchup. I think this is going to be a great game. For fantasy football, start Cam Newton. I think he's going to have a good game running the football as well as passing. And a surprise start, Darren Sproles of the New Orleans Saints. Carolina is 31st in the league in rush defense, and I think a lot of touches are going to go to Darren Sproles. I think he's going to have a great game. But overall, I'm going to have to go with the Saints passing attack led by Drew Brees. I think he's going to have another big game, big season thus far, one of the top passers in the NFL in passer rating. So I have to go with the Saints. Next game to look at, the Oakland Raiders are traveling to Houston to face the Texans. I'm going to have to go with the Texans on this one because the rush defense for the Oakland Raiders is terrible, and I think a lot of touches are going to go to Arian Foster. I think he's going to have at least 30 touches in this game, rush for over 100 yards, but we will see. Now, a player that I think everybody should keep an eye on for fantasy play is Jacoby Jones. He's going to be replacing Andre Johnson as that #1 target for Matt Schaub. I think you should bench him this week. Just keep an eye out on him and see what he does this week. If he has a big game, you should definitely start him in the following week. Due to the rush defense for the Oakland Raiders, I think the Houston Texans are going to focus more on running the football instead of passing it. So I think you should bench Jones this week. Next game to look at, the Philadelphia Eagles are traveling to Buffalo to face the Bills. I'm going to have to go with the Eagles defense on this one. They really need to start winning games. Only one win thus far this season, especially with a tough loss last week and a comeback against the San Francisco 49ers. I think the Philly defense is going to spark this entire team up and come out with a victory. Kansas City Chiefs is going to Indianapolis to face the Colts. Indianapolis should get their first win. Kansas City has no defense. They have been playing terrible, not playing up to par. They had a great year last season, winning the AFC West, but they're having a terrible year. Yes, they do have a win, but I think Curtis Painter, he had a good game last week, passing for over 250 yards and 2 scores. I think he's going to connect with the receivers in this matchup, so I'm going to have to go with the Colts. San Francisco is playing it up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm going to have to go with San Francisco because of their defense, plus that comeback win last week against the Eagles pretty much sparked them up. Tampa Bay did have a good win last week against the Indianapolis Colts, but I think they're going to struggle against San Francisco's defense, led by Navarro Bowman, who's leading the team in tackles. Next game to look at, New England is hosting the New York Jets. I'm going to go with the Patriots on this one, because for the past couple of weeks, the Jets defense have been struggling against the Baltimore Ravens and the Oakland Raiders. So I think this week they're going to have another hard time against Tom Brady. You do not want the ball on Tom Brady's hands, and I think that's going to happen a lot because the Jets offense is not playing up to par. They still have not developed a running game. I still think that you should bench Sean Green for fantasy football play. He has not been playing well this season. He has not been that #1 running back for that team. So I have to go with New England in this one. Now, one of the biggest games this week is Green Bay against Atlanta. This is going to be at Atlanta. I think this is going to be a high-scoring matchup where both teams are going to rely more on their passing game. For fantasy football play, I think you should bench Michael Turner. I think he's going to struggle against that Packer defense who's good against the run. But start Julio Jones. For the past couple of weeks, he has been producing great yardage. He is actually projected to have at least 1,300 yards receiving this season, but we will see. We still have a lot of football left to go in the season. But for this matchup, I'm going to have to go with Green Bay, only because I believe that Aaron Rodgers is a little bit smarter than Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's a great quarterback, but Aaron Rodgers understands the defense that he plays against and his players. He actually passes the ball to every player. He actually knows where every player needs to be and where they will be. He's a good, accurate quarterback and a great leader for the Packers. I think the Packers are going to stay undefeated, so I'm going to have to go with Green Bay. In the Monday night matchup, Chicago's going to go to Detroit to face the Lions. The Lions are for real, ladies and gentlemen. Calvin Johnson leading the league with 8 touchdown receptions this season. He's having a big year. Good connection with, good chemistry with Matt Stafford. Both these two are doing great. They still need to develop a better running attack, but I think their defense is going to hold the Chicago Bears' offense. Jay Cutler is still struggling in the passing attack, but Matt Forte is their best weapon offensively, but I think they're going to struggle against the Lions. So I'm going to have to go with Detroit in this matchup, but this is going to be a great week. Now, the next time I'm going to catch you guys is on Friday to give you my Week 6 predictions as well as some tips for fantasy football play. Thank you for watching today's vlog from Sports News Insider. I'm your boy, Akeem McCall. Be easy.